Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You are listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I am your host, Tracy L. And we're here for another incredible episode where we are going to be really having a good time today of playing in the energy all around your animals. We have Sabrina Campbell with us today, and we are going to make sure that you know what your little furry friends are saying to you and how she really expanded in this space. But before we get there, I want to invite you to check us out at tracylclark.com, where you can have your 18-minute free audio download for clearing and shifting and sifting some of those energies, especially as we're getting to the year end. You probably are finding, if you're like me and many of my friends, we are all having some technical glitches and issues, and there are things that are ripping off our systems that we're no longer going to take into 2019. So we thought today would be a fabulous day to be able to play and have some fun, because I know we all love our furry friends, and we also know how much they bring us joy, compassion, and when we're having a bad day, they make everything better. So welcome, Sabrina. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Merry whatever the season brings.
Yeah, I'm so happy you could join us because we all have our wonderful furry friends. And, I want you to explain to the audience more, how did you understand that you actually had this gift? Because it's a rare gift to be able to talk and understand what the animals are saying.
It is. And, it's a gift that we all have. It's whether or not we choose to hone it. And what I think I've had it and not known about it my entire life. Like, I've been always talking to my animals like they are actually talking back to me, because they were. So it's kind of funny, because when I tell that story, it's like people are like, well, I talk to my animals. Well, yeah, hone that skill. And because as long as you assume they're answering you, they are. But I was rather young, very young. And then I realized that I could really hone this skill with my, we got a dog. We had a dog back with us, and he liked to run, and he ran on Christmas Eve one year. And yes, right? It's a wonderful present when you're worried. But so I was helping a friend with her horses. I was taking care of them. She was a neighbor, and I went to her place, and her horses were acting funny. And the neighbor's dog was acting funny, and the neighbor's dog was like quite a ways away. So I kind of like, normally when I talk to the one horse, she would love the conversation with me. But this time she was not taking her eyes off of whatever she was staring at. So I thought, you know what? You're saying something. And so I started to kind of look in the direction. I'm like, where are you looking there? And I, tried to see where she was going with this. And I thought, you know what? She's looking right at that barking dog. So I thought to myself, go into all the neighbors' homes. So I did. And the first one was the dog barking, was where the horse was looking at, and our dog was in the barn there. Wow. So it was right. And it was something that I recognized, oh my goodness, that was not something I've experienced quite like that before. So, and then I realized that I started to process the thoughts, and the thoughts were totally the both horses telling me there's somebody over there, and I think it's somebody connected to you. So when we realized that, we found a dog, we were super happy, and Christmas was awesome.
It made for a better holiday, which is always a good story, because Christmas is right around the corner, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
In a week. And so what are some, I know I have 2 cats, and they're always communicating and telling good stories, and many animals before. And, I think that people forget really how like our animals are so intuitive, and they're always even taking stuff off us as people. Like they're always helping us. And I think so many people they discount that. They see them as just maybe their furry friend or someone that's just there. But, explain how you see that, because I know you're extremely intuitive and you have this beautiful gift in many areas. Animals is one of the space. But, for people who maybe this is new for them, they're like, what? My furry friends actually are helping me energetically. Explain more of that to people so they know what they're actually doing rather than just giving them a wet kiss in the morning.
Absolutely. The interesting thing is that animals are far more sentient than we even understand as it goes right now. They are one of our deepest connections to the all, if you want to put it a very vague way. But just love and healing and knowing oneself, that all comes from the support we get from our animals. And they really do, like they can send us messages either in pictures or videos, and they really do. I mean, when they wake up in the morning, they're doing their stretches and releasing certain packages of energy that they can. And then, we have to be responsible for our own energy, because they will take on, because I know a lot of people whose animals have, whose people who have gotten a disease and whose animals have picked up the same disease or very similar to that in the process of this either healing or passing, the person healing or passing. And then oddly enough, the animal either passes from this as well, or it's just the similarities is just far too similar not to see that they are taking that stress off of us. They're taking those fears away from us. And even though we think we're fearful, if we didn't have that animal, we would be more fearful. Yes. Because they are they're anchors as far as I'm concerned.
They are. And, it's interesting you say, I remember having a client quite a long time ago. She had kidney problems, failure, and her 3 little dogs all had kidney problems. And then when hers started to process out, then theirs started to process out. And it was a really interesting, to see. And I know when people say to me, oh, my dog has this, or, I'm like, well, you should thank your dog because it's taken it off you. So you notice there's both, right? Either they take it off them or they're sharing it and having a very similar experience. But so often people just discount it. Oh, my dog has diabetes, or my cat has, diabetes, but they're not realizing that it's their processing more than the animals that's actually happening.
Yeah. And it's not just that, it is that, but it's the thing that I find is hard is my message has to be delivered. Whoever is with me, like I have had quite a few clients lately where they come to me for animal communications, and the animal give me the best proof right off the bat so that I can work on the person instead, because they don't want to be worked on, because they're like, I'm not the source of what's going on. I need you to work on her or him or them or whatever. So I find that they are becoming much more not just vocal, but outward about the energies that they are taking on from us. And I find that they're asking us all to reconnect. And when I say reconnect, I don't mean hook up into the stars and know who you're talking to. I'm talking about knowing, right? I'm talking about knowing who you are. And the pains that you've gone through, and why are you, let's say somebody's got issues with, just has issues, maybe in addictions or in what they do, they not such healthy choices, but you're avoiding something. And when you avoid that something that's causing something else to happen like that, then your animal is taking that on as well. And so the message is incredibly delicate to be delivered. And I find that when the message is being delivered and it's something incredibly personal, the higher powers, they just come right in and, do such a good job on giving me the words and sometimes I think sometimes they don't sound super soft and really supportive, but in actuality, that's exactly what the person needs to hear in order for them to understand their role in ignoring what pain they have.
Yeah. And it's all up to us as who we are as beings and our systems and belief systems we're letting go of. And like anything that's being reflected back, that animal is reflecting everything back to us. And that's what I really find fascinating, because for some people too, what I notice and what I love about what you do is that when people have a hard time, say, looking at their things that they need to shift and transition and change, by actually coming through the animal, sometimes, even though it could be more direct, must be a much more validating sometimes experience for the person to open up more and to be more aware.
Yes.
Yeah. You've probably found that.
I have, and they help me. The help that I get from the animals is undeniable. Like they are not there for them. They are there for everyone, everything, for the whole massive part of the world. Even a selfish animal in which we think is selfish, we could, first off, I always say, look within. Do you have selfish tendencies? But that animal that looks selfish is still doing work on a whole large scale that we can't even comprehend.
Well, that animal, we always say, is usually a good reflection of the owner, and people hate when we say that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we have Carrie on the line, so we're gonna actually bring her in so you can actually communicate with her. But where can our listeners find you if they say, I want to learn more about my animal, what's happening? Where's the best place for them to get a hold of you, Sabrina?
Well, they could email me at that's a 6th, sensibilities, and it's difficult. It's senseabilities with an A.com. And then the email is 6sensibilities@gmail.com, and Facebook, 6 Sensibilities with Sabrina Campbell.
And we'll make sure we put all those links in the video below. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back after the break. Don't worry if you didn't get it. We will put it in on all the links, especially with the replay, so you will be able to find her. But when we come back, we are going to bring Carrie in, and Sabrina's going to get to work with her and her little furry friend. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break.
Gifted intuitive healer and spiritual teacher Sarah Luce brings her unique style to the hit show Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in each month as Sarah turns reality on end and shows us how to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. For show details and upcoming topics, visit SarahLuce.com. That's SarahLoos.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthисfunny.com.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Choose the New Earth on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio as Cornelia takes listeners on an odyssey of higher consciousness to inspire, educate, and empower. Cornelia guides people on the path of self-healing, peace, and liberation. The Cornelia Stephanie Show is your catalyst for anchoring heaven on earth on a global scale. For more information, go to corneliastephanie.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., and we are here with Sabrina Campbell today. Don't forget, you can check out our replay on Transformation Talk Radio, but also on iTunes and Spotify and 90 other beautiful outlets. Today, we are talking about animals, animal communication, what they have to say to you. And we actually have a caller, Carrie, and we're going to bring her in so Sabrina can talk to her and her little furry friend. Right, Carter?
Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Tracy.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, Carrie.
What's your question?
I'm here with Sam and Missy, and it's like fascinating what you do. It's amazing. Every day I ask them, I was like, oh, if they could talk, what would they say? You know, these guys are great.
Many things. They would say many things, that's for sure.
So would you... do you want to take that over and maybe have a little chat with Sam or Mitzi, right, Carrie?
Mitzi, yeah. She's a new one to our little pack here. We're babysitting her for a year. And, she was quite cranky when we first arrived, but now she's like a whole other different beast. She's like happy and, I'm just trying to figure out what we can do to make her even more happier.
Well, I see her being a slow warmer-upper. She's one of those that needs to feel secure in the relationship in order to give affection. I think that the way that you're going at it right now is a really good way. You can already see the benefits of what you're doing. I see a lot of positivity, a lot of vocal, like I like to call it vocal support. It's not like verbal. It's not like you're talking, but it's like just the tones of voice that you use. She's listening to and learning how to navigate through the different tones of voices. So she's very sensitive. She's sound sensitive. She's heart sensitive. I even feel like her feet are sensitive. Like even right now with salt on the sidewalks or such is kind of one of those situations where you don't want to put her on the sidewalk, even though she doesn't want to walk in the snow. But I feel like a lot of positivity, a lot of, and I don't mean the high squeaky voice. I mean like really open heart. And I don't know if you know that feeling when you're looking in a dog's eyes and you feel, it's like you get warmer, or like for me, my eyes water a little bit, not from sadness, just from trying to reach the vibrations that they're capable of reaching.
Yeah.
And do
Sam my first day.
Sorry, what was that?
I said Sam melts my heart every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those gooey eye looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would keep doing what you're doing, and in that time, open up. The reason I think in the beginning that she was feeling a little off was because she, didn't know what to expect. She didn't know if what your happiness or your happy sound or your happy voice, she wasn't used to that because she's used to her people and you're different. So, but she's really, like, I see her opening up and I see her getting excited about things now and being very cuddly, starting to come.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. She's starting. It's nice. It's nice to see the change in her. And, Sam's getting a little jealous. But I, try to keep that balanced too.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for you. Have fun with that. That's I always do the, we have a wee Shih Tzu cross, and she always, every time my one dog gets affection, she tries to come into it. So I kind of make it, just so that it's fair, I make it, this is one dog's moment and this is the next dog's moment, and then do whatever during the day. I'm not saying segregate your love. I'm just saying, give them one moment at least where they can have some time one-on-one. And then Sam will understand that, oh, okay, I understand this, especially with consistency. You continue to do that, then he's going to understand that this is just the way it goes. There's no other way.
Right.
I think that's always too, don't you find when you have an animal that has been with you for quite a long time and then you introduce another one, they're like children that way. You do have to balance them out again because they've always had, it's like when the second child comes, right? Even if it's a rescue and the second child comes. And so for a dog, I'm related to kids too, but the first one has to go, wait a minute, where's my place now? How do I fit in here? And I used to have mommy's attention all together. So, Sam being there all by himself saying, this was all my mommy. Now I have to share her. So I think it's natural that they would find that tendency just like children, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every behavior that a dog does is natural. Every behavior that an animal does is natural. It's just how we choose to handle it, which could, if we reason it too much, it could become unnatural. But I mean, you love your dog. You're not going to not give it attention. You're not going to not. So you just put that thought in your head while you're doing these things. Like anybody puts the thought in, I love my dogs. There's nobody I love more. I love them all differently. I love them. And that thought then a lot of the times just goes from animal from person to animal. And they sort it out so beautifully.
Yeah. I think too, the nice thing about having these two dogs, Carrie, you can see where the sharing of that love and that open heart, like you were talking about, is also, you can see they're like a triad, all three of them together, where they're actually all helping each other expand their heart space even more. And how you share. I love what you said about that, because you could see it as soon as you said it, how you could share that amount of love with a lot of different people. So, as humans, how we're sharing more love. Carrie, you can see energetically where your heart is open to another space to be able to share that kind of love as well. So the dogs are, like you're saying, you can see where that's mimicking back to you, which I think is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of joy and play there too, which is fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, the animals do bring back a lot of play energy, and you can see where that is. Do you have another question for Sabrina, maybe about Sam or someone? Another one that you'd maybe like her to ask?
I would love to. I always ask them, can you tell me what you want to eat? Oh, he's so picky.
He's a picky eater.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like it's okay. So a dog's natural mind doesn't have food laying out for him all day. It's the natural mind is that they eat whenever they find food. So as much as that's been taken out of them for the sake of domestic animal sake, I don't know how to word that properly, but it's been taken out of for that. But that hasn't left their brain. So I find a lot of the times dogs that have issues with picky eating, they think they don't want something, they think they want something else, is because it's almost like it's too available to them. So a lot of the times I have suggested before that maybe what you do is you do like a 20-minute feeding session. So you have the food. So if they're used to having the food laying out for them all the time, you take it away and then you put it down at whatever feed time it is for 20 minutes. And if they don't eat anything, you pick it up. So the thing is it takes 3 days for a dog to even get slightly affected by no food. So you're not going to hurt the dog if it doesn't eat anything in that 20 minutes. You offer it again in the time frame. Say it was a difficult situation. The dog needed food in their stomach through a few times throughout the day. So like it has GERD or something. So then you can, feed at consistent times. So every day at 9, every day at 12, every day at 3, every day at 6, and do that. And then if you find that they're getting really good with that, then you can start to break it down and do it twice a day, however many times you want to do. But there's no drive for the food because the food is always there. Now, if the food were a mouse or something wild, Then there's drive. Oh, it's moving, right? And it's like, I want it. So I find a lot of the times it's taking the food, the freedom to the food, I forget what that way of feeding is, but I feel also that he's kind of bored. Like even if you did this, it's not like his want for more food would pick up. Only I don't know if maybe the food is boring to him or the flavor. I'm not sure, but I'm seeing like him looking at the dish like, you got that chicken and cheese sandwich in there?
It's like eating the same meal for dinner. Remember your kids every day. And that's actually a good point, because I like what you said there, because a lot of times it's true. We give our animals the same thing every day, but we as humans don't want to eat the same thing every day. It's boring.
Right. Like I cook meals, he doesn't get kibble. He gets duck, or he gets hamburger, or he gets chicken hearts, or he gets, and I'm like, really, dude? Like nothing's happening here.
Yeah. And there's something going on. Like, I feel like it's like, it's a flavor thing. Like, it's like his mouth isn't tasting. Like, I feel it in my mouth. Like, my mouth feels like it's got a film on it, on the inside. I don't know if maybe he's not tasting his food very well. I'm not sure.
He's very sensitive.
Sorry, Carrie, go again.
Maybe I need to clean his teeth.
Or something, maybe check them out. I would do something in that sense. I don't diagnose any health issues, but I would definitely think about maybe getting his teeth cleaned, or just maybe, taking him to the vet and having them look in his mouth or something. Like, I don't think there's anything terrible going on. I think it's more like, I don't feel comfortable, but he's showing it off to me as he's bored. Like, he looks at it like,
again,
maybe it's not bored. Yeah, exactly. That he has to chew that food again. Yeah.
Well, maybe what we need to do there is just thank that hand of God and making sure that Sam's taste buds can get a little bit of an adjustment back into his central nervous system, so he can be in a space of actually enjoying different kinds of food and all the various combinations of his food. So we'll give that off to Sam to help that and give him a little bit of a break. So thank you, Carrie, for calling in. So appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back where we will have more with Sabrina around talking with your animals and some of the stories maybe that you guys have heard or shared. Please feel free to call in, let us know, and we'll be right back after the break.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com. Have you discovered the remarkable books at angelhealinghouse.com? Author Claire Candy Hough has channeled rare books of inspiration and insight.
Angels of Faith is an inspiring story of healing, comfort, and hope that reminds us that death is not to be feared, but embraced with joy.
One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, takes readers on a roller coaster ride through Angel Ariel's 5 most important lives on Earth, as well as her experiences in the afterlife, and helps us remember our own journey across the veil.
And Claire Candy's autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, which details the 2003 soul exchange that took place when Claire Candy walked out of her body and Angel Ariel walked in, creating heaven on earth for herself and others.
To find out more about these wonderful books, visit angelhealinghouse.com today.
Are you your story? Or can you change your story? Can you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your circumstances as part of your healing journey? What if you were to change your expectations? What if you were to invite ease and cooperation into every day and then step back and see what happens? It might just be easier. I'm Megan Edge, and I hope that you'll join me on my new radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out more about Megan Edge? Visit her website at meganedge.ca.
High-frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores Source Light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Tracy L. Clark Show. If you want to talk to Sabrina and know what your animals are saying, give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. Also want to encourage you to check us out at tracylclark.com, where you can sign up for our free 18-minute audio clearing. And this time of year is always welcome to have a good clean out for the system. So actually, we're going to jump right on the line because we have Julie on the phone. So Carter, let's just bring her right in and have some more play energy.
Yeah, Julie from Toronto. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Julie.
Hello.
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 Do you have a question for Sabrina? Oh, can you hear us?
Kinda. I can hear you now.
Oh, there you go. Do you have a question for Sabrina? Things you want to talk about with your good furry friends?
Yes, I have a puppy named Daisy, and she was a rescue about a year ago, just over a year, and she's had quite an issue with her ear and scratching.
So do you want to know what's going on with her ear, or do you...
Well, yes, I'd like to... We haven't been able to really figure out what's going on or read the energy behind it, and so I was wondering if she has something to tell us or some information you could give us about a solution for that for her, because it's an aggravation, and I really don't want to see her go through that anymore.
No. Does she get baths often?
Not too often, because her skin is fairly dry. We do clean out the ears. We do put cream on them. We have taken her to the vet a couple of times. We've tried changing her food. We've tried a lot of different things, and it just seems to be sitting in there, and it's an aggravation. Especially when she has a lot of energy sort of pent up, like she wants to play, she'll scratch it. Or when we get outside and it's really cold, she'll scratch it.
Yeah, I can feel like my head is tilting to the right quite a bit. I feel like my ear has water in it, and I'm trying to, how you bounce your head to get rid of that water stuck in your ear after swimming.
Yeah, it is her right side.
Yeah, and I feel like the ear is like I don't know so much. Like, I don't feel itchy. What I feel is blocked. I feel like there's a really water in my ear.
Like a fluid backup that needs to come out. So she's itching the ear like this, right? Because she's trying to get that fluid to move, which would actually make sense. We can start to read that as you're talking.
Yeah, and that's what I'm feeling. Like, I'm feeling like all I wanted to do is just to pop out and have all of that warm fluid come out of my ear, right? But it's not doing it. I don't know so much that you're looking at outer ear, though. I would tend to, I don't know, think that maybe it's a little bit farther, like maybe beyond that, because the outer ear and inner ear aren't connected, right? So,
well, when she will come towards me, and if I rub, underneath the ear where the ear canal is, she'll really sink into me. When you have to, when you rub right underneath the sort of the ear. Yeah. Yeah. She really sinks in.
Yeah. And so does that moaning, grunting.
Yeah. So what we can do with her too is we can take that one step further and start to open and push that fluid out of the ear canals and the hairs. Thank you, God. We can start to allow that to start to drain, and for her to be in a strength of a position to drain the energy out of that right ear so it can start to liquefy and dissolve, and then take that off. It's also interesting because even as you guys are talking, there is now a balance. You can feel it coming out of the left ear as well.
Yeah.
There's a balance of the right and the left. You probably felt that, Sabrina, where all of a sudden, as soon as we open that energy, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. As soon as as soon as we did that, my ear heard everything.
Sorry, Sabrina, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying as soon as we did that, my ear was hearing everything very loudly at that point. I was like, okay.
Thank you, God. We'll open up everybody's ears.
I'll take some of that. Thank you.
There you go.
Is she happy?
Oh, God, yeah. Listen, she came from a place where happiness, it wasn't something that was, I'm getting the word allowed. So your love has to love through all of that. And you're not going to see the results of your love ever. You're never going to see it quickly. But it's going to take years for her to allow that to unfold. I feel she's really, like, she is a very open little dog, and she feels so much.
Yes.
So when there's bad, no, I'm not saying negative as in evil. I'm saying negative as in grumpy. Somebody's grumpy. She's very careful. Like, oh gosh, did I do it? Oh no, is there something that I need to do? Oh my God, where do I need to be? Like, I can feel her constantly questioning and kind of looking over her. None of that has to do with you. Oh, but she does say that she doesn't like the pity. So don't bring that in between you and her. She finds that it's very blocking.
Oh.
So when you feel like you're going to be like, oh, I feel so bad for you. Look what you went through. I feel so terrible for you. When you rescue a dog, when a person rescues a dog, the first thing they need to do is drop that feeling, because it doesn't help the dog and it doesn't help you. But what she wants you to understand is that she is a survivor. She is a warrior. She's done more than she could have ever thought she was capable of. So we need to give her that justice and that empowerment by talking to her like she is a warrior, not a wee little cutesy wootsy pokey dog, right?
You make me want to cry.
I love
That's okay.
I got chills when you said that she's not allowed, wasn't allowed to be happy. Like, it was just coming, you could see. So there are these triggers, which is really good for you and your partner to understand that if you are not feeling this is a great point, Sabrina, you brought up, because you can see the energy of it so clearly. So I'll shift it all up for you guys, but you can see when, as soon as you said not happy, so she still has a lot of triggers that if someone in the house isn't happy, then all of a sudden, and then I go back up to her ears, right? You can see that again. And you must see that where it's like, oh, okay. And then it gets plugged up. Like, I don't want to hear because they're not happy. So I don't want to hear that because what can I do? I don't know what I can do. It's not mine to do. That was, you just hit on such a big one for this little puppy. Well, it's a big puppy, but you know what I mean? Like little puppies, big hearts, right? But when you said that, you could see Spirit was like, oh my gosh. So she's trying to balance out. Is there anything that they could say to her now, knowing too that, you know, if their house is, say, having a rough day, we all have rough days in our houses. People are lying if they say they never have a rough day, that they could maybe remind her of something so she doesn't feel like she needs to take that on?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that. What can happen is, what I do is when I'm having a rough day, I have a very sensitive dog. And well, I have two of them, but one of them is very outwardly sensitive. So when I'm having a rough day, I don't look my dog in the eye at all until my energy is positive or neutral. I don't look. That doesn't mean that I'm not sharing energy, because animals don't share it with eyesight, because eyesight is actually could be very challenging to a dog. They don't give long eye contact to each other, not even if they love each other deeply. It's very short and very quick and very respectful. So I would suggest first not looking at her, just allowing her to have the space, but keep sending the energy out there that you love her. So I love you. I'm having a bad day. You can say exact words. You can say all the words that you know how to say in order to explain that you're having a bad day and that you love her, because she understands every single word.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love that because it really will take the pressure. You can see it's almost like, oh, everything just went light when you said that. It's like, oh, I don't have to take on that responsibility because
right.
How old is she, Julie, now?
She's about 2 now.
About 2. So
just over 2. We're guesstimating her age, but about 2. Yeah.
So she's
extremely affectionate.
Yeah. But her ingrained pattern with the other family was exactly like Sabrina was saying, was we don't have happy. We're not allowed happy. And you're kind of a pain in my ass. So go away. So now it's like, that's no different than a child for a dog. I'm assuming it's probably very similar for a child from 0 to 7 where all this patterning comes in and then you got to get it out of the dog too.
Right. And that affection is also showing, she's showing you how she needs support, but you don't give. So what she needs affection as support, but you can't give that affection in times where her brain is in fear. So you can't go up to her and love her in a moment where she's worried about her life or worried about a moment, or worried about something. And you know that look. I know you know that look in her eyes. So remember that when that look is in her eye, you don't shower her with affection, because all you're doing then is rewarding her for that state of mind. And you don't want to reward her for that. Okay. You want her to tell her that's not what's supposed to happen. You don't want to kick it out because that's forceful and nobody ever learns from force. But you want to let her know that you love her, but you don't have to say in words, but you can say it if she feels she needs it. But just put distance in between you and her, not with your heart, but with your physical body.
I love it. Okay. I love it. Well, we're going to give her a whole big blessing. Thank you for calling in, Julie. So love hearing about the animals. And we're actually going to jump to another call. We have Catherine on the line. Carter, are we ready to bring her in?
Yeah, Catherine from Toronto. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Catherine.
Welcome.
Hi there.
So great to have you join us. Do you have a question about your furry friend? For Sabrina.
I do. We have a doggy. He's about 3 years old. His name is Kobe. And he's an addition to our family first for the kids. So we've had him since he was a puppy. But he's mainly at home with me all day long. So he is a good puppy as long as he's with me. As soon as the kids come home or anyone else comes to the house, he is just decided the rules go out the door. And we wonder if that's something with us, because this is very fascinating, and I'm curious.
It is something with you guys. What's happening is that he is very deeply connected with his soul. His soul is incredibly deeply connected, and I know all animals are very deep. They are incredibly deep. But just like people, there are some that are deeper. And he is like, I see him as like, if he was a statue, he would be the thinker. Like he's just he is very deep. So the connection is just as deep. The connection to you, the connection to your partner, the connection to your kids. But what happens in that connection is when the kids come home, instead of having focus for one, which is him, you now have focus for 3. So you said you had 2 kids, I think. Or I'm seeing that.
Actually, one's at university, so when she comes home, it's like he goes wild, and he's just crazy for her,
and it's that disconnection. He's so used to that disconnect happening, and it's nothing you're purposefully doing. It's sometimes we shut down certain parts of us in order to focus on other things. So as it goes right now, I think he feels like when you shut certain things down that you're shutting him out. And it's almost like he gets like panicked in a way. It looks like he's, happy, but it's really like, what am I supposed to do? I feel like I'm supposed to lick your face. I mean, if it was a dog coming in and he was doing that to a dog, he would lick its teeth, every single one of its teeth, right? Because that's what they do to say hello. Very little eye contact, but a whole lot of teeth licking. And mouth licking. And so, but with you guys, he doesn't lick your teeth or your mouth. So he's like, what do I do? Who am I supposed to talk to? I can feel that frictious energy going around. So what I would suggest doing is, it's a really good practice, and I found it to work great with mine, who loves to rush at people barking, is to give them a place. Give him a place. Like if he needs to say hello to the people that come into the door, then he has to do that after you invite them in. So he has a place maybe by the door. He doesn't have to lay down. He doesn't have to, I would prefer, in my opinion, he sits, because it's harder to get up and walk away if one is sitting, so you can allow him to focus on the situation. But that also makes you connect to him while you're doing that, because you then have to be ready for if he decides to change or move, or, you're being more aware of him before you open the door. And what he is going to learn is that you're just shutting things off so that you can focus in other areas, but the connection to him doesn't necessarily need to be shut off. But I feel like it's been shut off over the years just from the behaviors that you've recognized from him. It's, I feel like it's like, oh, here he goes again kind of thing, right? And as soon as we say, oh, here he goes again, or anything of that fashion, they are feeling like you're disconnecting from them. So I would suggest being very aware of him and not allow him to be the greeter at the door. He has to be the, how do you reference that? Like they can come in and say hello to him rather than him push out and kind of yell hello at them.
And then it also, you can see.
How do you recommend doing that when he just, he doesn't really listen, because now he's thinking, okay, they're here for me, so get out of my way. Yeah.
Right. So it's just like kids. It's the consistency that's going to get you the best results. And what I do, losing my ear thing. What I would do is I would, like I said, in that place, either does he sit and stay? Like, does he do the stay command?
Occasionally, when he feels like it.
And are there two of you that can work with him while somebody is coming in the door?
Not usually. It's just myself and then my daughter when she comes home.
Okay, so when you know somebody's going to be coming over, what I would suggest is let them know beforehand that you're going to be working with your dog, and then you can unlock the door, have them do all of the things that they would normally do, but instead of you opening the door, you sit with you stand with your back to the door and ask him to sit. So don't worry about his whimpering. Don't worry about the jumping up, all of that. He's going to have a million temper tantrums because this is different. This is a change. So, and every time we don't do something and then we try to implement something, it takes more work to implement it than it would have to do it right from the beginning, right? So you're going to be doing more work this time. So this is where that focus is really important for him, because when you focus on him and you let him know that you're not disconnecting from him, he's going to start to tap into you after who knows how many ever times that it takes him to realize that he doesn't have to have a temper tantrum every time somebody comes in. And you have him on leash while you're doing this, on leash and collar. And then eventually what would be hoped is that he would be able to just let the people in. But he's very protective. Like as soon as that guard, like as soon as he feels like that disconnect goes away, he thinks, oh no, I have to protect everybody. And you need to tell him with your, right. And you need to tell him with your body language, no, you don't need to protect me. I will let you know when I need your protection, when I need your help. And you don't say you don't need to be protective, because he does at times. So you don't want him misunderstanding that you think you just want a couch potato. You don't want that, because he's not that dog. But what you do want is you want him to trust you in these moments where he feels like he's disconnected from you.
And it also looks like what
that
we
makes
can.
great sense.
Yeah. And what we can do to maybe help that with your family, if you'd like, I'll do an adjustment for you and your family, everybody separate together. So even for some reason, there was something that popped up when Sabrina was talking to you. If you can actually even So if you say, if your daughter's coming over and you know it's going to be between 5 and 6, if you send them that little picture of, oh, she's going to be here between 5 and 6, and then you do the tool she gave you, it's kind of like he preps for it and he'll calm down a little bit more. And so it's taking that lead from you. So we'll put all of you guys in sync a little bit differently. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be as long. So we'll speed that up. So it can be a little bit quicker. So when you do those exercises Sabrina gave you, it'll be able to be a little faster. And I don't know, just as she was talking, you could see that flash of, oh, they're going to be here in like 6 o'clock. And then it's kind of like he sees the clock, he sees what time, and then it's kind of like he preps for it. And then when you do what she said, it looks like he tends to get it a lot quicker, which will be easier for you. You don't want to wait 6 months, right?
Right. And I do want to say something else, that when those people come in, don't allow them to look him in the eye right now, only because he's so overwhelmed that anytime they look him in the eye, he's going to look at that as reward for what his behavior is. Again, we have to be on top of all of our body in order to affect the behavior of a dog, because it's not the dog's issue, it's ours. So if we are causing this in our dog, we have to find out what it is we need to change physically, or what we're doing in order to implement change in that dog's behavior. So even your daughter or any of the family comes home, they come in the door, they don't look, or it sounds odd, but you just wait until everything calms down. Don't look at them. You can send energy again without any type of connection as far as eye contact goes. You can send loving energy to them, but you can also say, I'm going to give you affection when you calm down. This is too much for me right now. And then he can be like, okay, and like do that wiggle in a spot, and then still wait until he calms down. I've done that with my dog, who used to just like jump all over me and pull on my clothes. And now she's fantastic. Years later though, but now she's fantastic.
Well, let's speed that up so it can be 6 months, Catherine.
Well, I just also wanted to know, do animals have past lives in human form? Or
they can
come back as an animal?
Normally it's animals that they come back as, but there have been quite a few that I'm running into, people that have, or animals that have been people, or people that have been animals. And a lot of the times those are really ancient souls.
Yeah, that's very true. I was an animal very, 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 very long time ago when somebody picked it up. And I'll tell you, when somebody picked it up, they were like, oh my God, I don't see this very often. It's rare, like you said. And I said, well, I was old. But it was interesting because in that lifetime where it came up, I was not able to swim. I couldn't breathe when I would go underwater. And I drowned as that animal. And I will tell you, it sounds crazy, but as soon as that energy was removed, it was years ago, I could go in a steam room. I could swim. I had no breathing issues. And they would always relate it to my asthma, but it wasn't. It was actually connected to the lifetime. And when it went, I was like, I don't know if I could go into that steam room. I could never breathe, and literally never had an issue. It's probably been like 13 years later, never had an issue. So it does happen sometimes. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Catherine, for calling in. Thank you. I am so glad that we were able to have you here. This hour goes so quick. It's like, oh my God, it's already done. And, we're going to make sure we put all your details and the replay below so people can find you. You guys, they'll get it on the YouTube, and I'll make sure that everybody understands where they can find you and how to get a hold of you and talk more with their animals and other things that come up in their life that they can shift and clear and move. And I know that as people are getting ready for the holiday season, they do also need to understand that their animals can get overwhelmed during this time because everybody's energies are also moving quite quickly. What's a tip before we go that you could give them to help their animals through the holiday season when there's so many people coming and going and the energies are quite high?
So the one tip that I really like is ask your animal what they want. It sounds crazy, and just listen to the answer. If you need an obvious answer, then say it that you need an obvious answer. I asked my dog what she wanted the other day, and she said, I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's ask them. And even if you don't know how to figure out what the answer is, feel it. And whatever you feel, then go with it. If it's not what they want, then try a next thing.
As we say, trust, no believe. Don't doubt your intuition.
That's right. It's number one. And the other thing is to take care of yourself, to meditate, to take some time. And I don't mean meditate like, sit there and having to say, I mean, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, whatever it is that gets you taken care of and energetically fresh, do that. And your dogs and animals will all receive abundance from that. So
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us for this hour. It's such a pleasure to have you. I wish you an incredible holiday season. I want to thank all of our listeners for this first half of the year here at the Tracy L. Clark Show. We will not be with you next week. We will be running a show with Joshua Mills again. If you missed him, it is Christmas Day. So we are all taking a breather. So enjoy your holiday. Many, many blessings. And we will see you after the Christmas break. And again, thank you so much, Sabrina, for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for calling in. I appreciate it.
We will see you again on the Tracy L. Clark Show. Merry Christmas. Thank you for
Merry Christmas.
To the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality, revealing the steps you need to transcend perceived limitations. As a remarkable leader and pioneer in my field, I, Tracy L., will provide insights energetically and the tools required to move you forward. For more information on my partnership program, check us out at tracylclark.com.